Hey you beautiful people, how's it going? And welcome to a new video. So today I'm releasing the SST Bleed League Starter Guide. It's not fully complete, I'm not gonna lie to you guys. I'm just getting spam for it day in, day out for a PoB and spreadsheet to be released. So I'm gonna still update the spreadsheet going forward and maybe the PoB. If you do see any improvements, feel free to drop me a message on Discord or just put it in the comments and we can look to tweak the PoB. But yeah, it's looking pretty good. So I'll give you a quick rundown on the spreadsheet and then jump over to the PoB and quickly just, breeze through it and give a quick overview. So for the spreadsheet, guys, it's ongoing, as I said. So this, not updated yet. Don't bother with this. It's not updated. This is from 3.21. But it will be updated going forward. The leveling guide's updated. So if you're new or have very little PoE experience and you want to know how to level up, just follow this to like Act 3. I only do it up to Act 3 because then you get SST, you'll get a 400 or 300 armor shield and it'll be pretty self-explanatory then. You just breeze through and be able to kill everything. So yeah, absolutely fine there on that. Gear progressions, I've also updated. It's not a super endgame variant. I haven't gone for a Emperor's Vigilance Perfect Agony setup yet because although you can probably get high DPS on that, you'll probably also die all the time because Emperor's Vigilance and a block build, which primarily relies on block for survivability, is not going to be too hot, to be honest with you. So I haven't bothered looking at that. Might consider it in the future with some tweaks, but for now, it's a little bit too long for the time that I have. So I have just, weapons are fine. Everything on here is fine. Endgame gloves. There's nothing too hard. All of it's SSF viable. If you can't get a Brislava's Coil for whatever reason, just get a Stygian Vise. Boots, easily craftable. Everything in the spreadsheet is SSF viable. All's Uprising might be a bit tricky to get, but it's not the most impossible thing to get. But it's also not needed because you can just go with the mid-game amulet. There's links and stuff on here. Anoints and what jewels to get are all on here. So if you do, need some help with progressions, you don't have to follow it strictly. As I say, this is just a general outlay of a guide. So if you do want to tweak it and do your own stuff, feel free. Gem setups might be tweaked in the future. We've lost Flesh and Stone and War Banner because Flesh and Stone is crap for SST now. It doesn't maim anymore and it's fizz damage from hit, so it doesn't affect bleed at all. So we're going to ignore that. So I've done, some tweaking here. Might change these around. We've got an automation set up for Mortal Charges for a bit of survivability. Enduring Cry on an actual cast and vulnerability. There's not too many skills now that you don't have to spam totems and banners and stuff like that, so it's actually not too bad in terms of pressing buttons. So that's quite easy. But yeah, that's an overview of the spreadsheet. I'll just quickly give you a quick overview of the PoB and we'll go from there. Okay guys, so the PoB is done. We have some more damage than we did, especially for the single target. So the tree breakdown for you, I'll go over the skill tree first. It's actually pretty similar to how it used to be because again, you're going to take the similar nodes just for damage on SST Blade. So there actually wasn't too much to change. The only thing that I can say is obviously the ascendancies are changed. What I have down here is a leveling mapping outlay for you, if you will. So again, if you're new or you've not played the build, just follow this and this will get you through the acts into maps. And maps, to be honest with this build, are very easy to do early. All the way to tier 16s are quite easy. So I've got a no cluster setup and a cluster setup. DPS, as you can see here, is looking pretty much double what it used to be. Well, actually probably triple. And that's with some okay-ish gear. It's week 1 gear, so if you were to play for 7 days and you could get this gear, it'd be fine. Lionized Remorse, which isn't, to be honest, it's a day 1 shield or a day 2 shield if you play an okay-ish amount, not even loads. Lionized Vision again. This is a 6 link, but Lionized Vision gives you Pierce, so it's still pretty good. As well as the Mana Leech if you want to drop life tap. And Brislava's Coil and the Circle of Guilt Iron Ring will be the hardest thing to get early, so maybe you won't get this week 1, but it's still a pretty good ring. And if you don't get this, you just get 2 steel rings. So yeah, so essentially on the tree, it's pretty much mostly the same for no clusters as it's always been. We do have to take some nodes for chance to cause bleeding because we don't have blood in the eyes anymore, which gives 50%. So there will be a few points you'll have to spend in chance to bleed, or you can get it on jewels, I believe. I'm not sure if they removed that or not. Somebody told me they did, but I haven't had the time to go through and actually have a look. When it comes to the ascendancies, I'll talk about them very quickly because they're the biggest important change. Going for Gratuitous on there probably first because it makes the axe very easy. with a decent bleed chance. You just throw your shield, everything pops, and you walk through. We're not taking Jagged because I was playing around and it wasn't too great, because we can actually just aggravate with Bloodletting, so 10% chance for that. If I take off Crimson right now, it's actually less DPS, for whatever reason. But all we're going to do now is go over this. So yeah, we ended up going for the More Than Skill, so the chance to block, attack, or spell damage is lucky if you blocked recently, which obviously gives a 91% chance to block, which is insane. Caveat is that you have to block first to get that, otherwise you just have 65. But yeah, 91 and 87 is pretty big. To be honest, yeah, it's pretty big. So good chance that you'll have a lot of survivability. Damage over time will just mess you up now, as it always has, but yeah, absolutely fine. And we're going to take War of Attrition, I believe, just for the 100% more damage. It's just too good not to take for the bossing on this, because it's just going to double your time, literally. So the PoB is set up for that to be at 100 just for the single target, because every fight's going to take 100. If you take that off, for killing trash mobs, you got about 1.6 million with no clusters, which is absolutely fine. That's initial effect Pride as well. Technically, that would be your bossing DPS, to be honest with you, because you'll always have the maximum effect as well. But yeah, so as for the Ascendancies, that's the route that I'm gonna take on this one. I'm not gonna go Crimson Dance because, you know, it's a 1 in 10 to aggravate. I guess it's up for debate. Honestly. I'll probably play around with it. You can always swap these. I mean, it's 1 point, you know what I mean? It's not going to be too hard to do. If you're doing Blight or something, just don't take Crimson Dance, so just take Bloodletting, because they all move by themselves, so you'll just do more damage. It's a lot easier. But yeah, that's the no cluster tree, so their damage is a pretty big increase. If we go to a cluster tree, it's about 6.1 million, which is huge compared to what it used to be as well, because it used to cap out about 2.6. So quite a lot. Just looking from the numbers on PoB, obviously that might not translate perfectly in game, but just as a ballpark, it's pretty good. But yeah, the tree's there for your viewing. All your leveling stuff's at the bottom, so if you want that, absolutely fine. And that's in the spreadsheet as well. Again, guys, if you have any changes, I haven't spent the greatest amount of time on the PoB because I have been very busy, which is why I can't get the spreadsheet out the next day after posting the video, so I apologize for that. But yeah, just let me know and we can work on it. Items wise, I've got a week 1 gear and then a decent investment-esque gear, as well as a setup for alls, which would be, you know, a decent amount of damage, which fits Malevolence and Pride in there. But yeah, the damage can actually scale quite well from what I can see, so that's looking a lot better. I'm not going to talk about that too much then. So the items wise are all on the tree, on the spreadsheet for your viewing, and then we've got our 6 link setups as well as what to take early in here if you really need it. It's on the spreadsheet again though. And these are my current gem setups. So I've gone for SST, Cruelty, Vicious Pride, Swift Affliction, Brutality, and Life Tap. Of course, you can drop Life Tap for Maim if you need to in the future, just because you do have the Line Eyes with the Mana Leech, so that might be okay. But you never know, so just hold fire and use Life Tap until you decide whether or not you can do it. Pride, Herald of Purity, and Vitality are my gems that I'm going for auras, because Flesh and Stone is now garbage for SST, because it's more damage with hits and not more physical damage taken or anything like that. And it doesn't maim anymore. So yeah, it's not the best, to be honest with you. It's not the best. So I've dropped it completely. Warbanner's gone, totems are gone, so we have a lot of free gem slots. There's not too much you can actually fit into SST to improve it. So I've gone for a shield charge with a maim setup for now, with Life Tap, faster attacks just to get around quickly. An Enduring Cry, Vulnerability, and Life Tap all on self-cast, because you don't really need Vulnerability for trash mobs, just bosses. So easy enough to hit somebody and then Vulnerability them. And Enduring Cry on a cast as well, because I have a lot of free buttons. Basically, I'm pressing SST or I'm moving around. Automation, Vol Molten Shell, more duration with Life Tap, should be okay. And then again for extra DPS and stuff, Corrupting Fever, Efficacy, and Brutality. And then a Flame Dash for like bossing if I was doing Maven or something for the beams. And then yeah, you just get the Explode. So it's pretty straightforward. If you do have any questions, any improvements, as I say guys, this isn't a set in stone PoB, and I might change it before the actual league launch. It's a work in progress, but we have the spreadsheet somewhat ready, which will be updated again. And we have the PoB, which is definitely, as it stands, enough to get you to the end game in PoB in PoE 3.25. So yeah, that's just about it for me, guys. I'll have the improvements posted by League Start. If you just check the spreadsheet for any updates, it'll just be on there. I'll update the PoB since it's real-time updates. And yeah, that's it, guys. Look forward to 3.25. I know I will. I don't know if I'll be streaming until the week after because I'm not even in my city on the weekend. But yeah, it's felt really bad. I don't know, I'm just rambling now. Sorry, guys. Anyway, enjoy your League Start. I love you guys. Take care, everybody, and have a good one. Peace. Can't find the end button. There we go. Before I go, a big shout out to my King and God tier Patreon supporters, Multi-K, Nifty, Gavin, and Pandoxy. You guys are the best. Thank you so much for the support. Catch you in the next one. Take care.